Access granted.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Joe Goodman from Goodman Games, and I am here with my friends and colleagues. I'll pass the baton to Matt to introduce himself.
Hello, I am Matt Hildebrand. I am the art director for Goodman Games, and I am happy to be here because I like old school and I like pinball. And that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Mike Curtis.
Hi, I'm Mike Curtis of Curtis Games. No, I'm Mike Curtis of Goodman Games. I'm sorry, I get all this mixed up in here. Yes, Mike Curtis of Goodman Games, and I am here because, well, I got nothing better to do. I'm here to answer all sorts of neat questions about pinball and direct questions about old school adventures over to the last person on this list, which would be Chris. Chris, everybody say hi to Chris.
Hi. Hi, Chris. Oh, hi, I'm Chris. My name is Chris Lindsay, and I am the 5e Development Director at Goodman Games. And I'm here because I like old school adventures that scare the living bejesus out of players.
I had a
And
bejesus, and now it's outside of me because it got scared out of me.
Uh-huh.
That adventure was so scary. Yeah. All right. So welcome, everybody. We are, I guess, a little over halfway through this crowdfunding, and the purpose of this stream is kind of the midway update. So we're going to update everybody on where the stretch goals are, where the art's rolling in, things like that. Kind of recap, actually some new add-ons we just added and what the crowdfunding exclusives are. If you've been kind of on the fence, now's a great time to hop off the fence. Although I know a lot of people wait until the very end to see all the goodies, but there's a lot of stuff piling up. And then we have a special guest in addition to all these wonderful people who will discuss various aspects of the project. The artist Chuck Whalen, who's been doing amazing work for Goodman Games for 15 years, 20 years, something like that. Chuck's been with us for a very long time, has done awesome fantasy illustrations. He just finished the map for the Gorgar adventure. So I know everybody loves Gorgar. I actually learned from one of the fan videos that somebody posted. I didn't know that Gorgar was one of the best-selling pinball machines of all time, at its point in time, which explains why it's so popular. But anyway, a lot of people love Gorgar, and that adventure is turning out great. It's already written, and we're getting the art rolling in. And so Chuck's going to be here to talk about many things, including the map he did for Gorgar. Then we'll also talk a little bit about some of the art that's rolling in for Old School Adventures, which is phenomenal. And as these guys mentioned, really like old school in its finest form, and other stuff too. So that's the table of contents. Hi to everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. And we also want to save some time at the end for Q&A. So if any fans or backers have questions or always wondered about, Mike's haircut or things like that, now's the time to ask.
But hold those for the end of the show. But if you have questions for Chuck, who will be here soon, make sure you ask Chuck before Chuck goes away.
And I have to point out, Mike, I've heard a lot about your barber over the years. So at some point we should have a stream where we talk about your barber and your haircut.
He's literally like, I can walk there. So, I can have him come on.
Next stream. There we go. Mike's barber, and we'll talk sports.
Barber Joe.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. So here's the brief recap for everybody. So we're at, I think, 163,000, something like that, a little over 1,700 backers, which is awesome. Thank you to everybody. What's interesting is BackerKit gives you all these statistics. And so in the back end, we can see, all this stuff about how people found us and referral links and all that. A lot of the backers are new to Goodman Games and even new to crowdfunding. And so I suspect some of those are the pinball fans who are kind of finding us. And it's cool to find that overlap. I mean, I'm a pinball fan. I think several of you guys are. I think a lot of the audience is, and that art is amazing. And it was honestly the art of the playfields and the stories they tell that got me first thinking about, like, you could totally make a D&D adventure out of this. So it's cool to see some of the fans coming in with that background as well. there was one comment, I think it was one of the videos where this guy said, he was like, if I were to draw the Venn diagram of my interest in pinball and DCC, it would just be a circle because they overlap so perfectly, which is kind of how I feel. So it was pretty cool. But where we're at right now, and I got to rearrange my windows because I got too many dang windows. We've got 2 bonus side quests for Old School Adventures #1. So Old School Adventures #1 is a 5e adventure. Yes, 2 bonuses for #1. Yes. And it is a hardcover adventure. It's written for 5e, but it's not that hard to convert to DCC, and we've heard a lot of fans are doing that. And it is as old school as you can get. There's a risk of character death. The art is black and white, grayscale, conjures up the good old days. There are mysterious monsters that you're not going to know the stats for right off the bat, and a lot more to come. So we'll talk about that in more detail when Chris jumps in later. But for now, just know we've already cleared 2 stretch goals, so 2 bonus side quests. So as you go through the different chapters, you now have 2 other ways to go off and explore. We're closing in on the 3rd side quest, and then at 250K, we're going to do an epilogue quest. So once you finish, you have a sort of final epilogue at the end. So hoping to clear those with your help. And then on the DCC side, again, everybody loves Gorgar. I mean, I kind of feel sorry for Centaur and Lion Man. They also lost in the poll of who would win in a fight. And I think somebody said it best in that poll. We did a poll on the crowdfunding. If you didn't vote, I feel like it might have just closed, but it was who would win in a fight, Gorgar, Centaur, or Lion Man. Gorgar won by an overwhelming majority. And there were a lot of really good comments. One of my favorite was that Gorgar is exactly the kind of person that cultists and weak people like to follow. So what he would bring to the fight is not just himself as a mighty demon, but probably a horde of followers,
And,
So,
and he also had that short-lived television series in the '90s on UPN. Everybody Loves Gorgar. That's so you got a lot, a lot of press for that too. So.
Was that the one with the 2 guys who lived in the house and they adopted a baby? And the same was Gorgar. It didn't work out in the end. We ate them all.
Well, that was after Gorgar and Mindy failed, I think, previously.
It was. I don't know. You might be thinking of 2 guys, a Gorgar, and a pizza parlor.
That could be the case. Yep. Or two Gorgar for comfort. I can't remember one of the. Anyway.
Didn't he sit next to Norm at the bar and Cheers?
There you go.
That was definitely Gorgar.
I think it was a contestant on
Drinking his mug, glug, glug, glug.
Mm-hmm.
What was the saying they had? Glug, glug, gore, glug? I think that's what he would say.
I feel bad for Centaur, the Cosmic Gunfight, the Blizzard, the Lion Guy, and the Red Ladies, because Gorgar's getting all the press on this one.
Everybody loves Gorgar. That totally is a TV show.
That's it. Everyone loves Gorgar. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on that note, if you're pledging on the Pinball Crawl Classic side, all the stretch goals are all about Gorgar all the time. Sorry, Lion Man. Sorry, Centaur. Sorry, Red Ladies. So we've already cleared the patron write-up for Gorgar. So speaking of cultists, you can be a wizard and Gorgar is your patron. He gives you all the spells. And then we got the first Gorgar spell that was cleared, and these names are terrific. The first Gorgar spell was the Forge of Gorgar. We're closing in on the second, and of course, these are DCC spells with the big tables and all the results, so there's a lot of meat to these. The second stretch goal will be another Gorgar spell called the Beating Heart of Hell, which does not sound, this TV show would not have been family friendly, I don't think, Mike. That is not a family friendly spell.
It was after the watershed, it was like, 10 o'clock, so it was all right.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember, do you guys remember, what was that Unexplained Mysteries show? Unsolved Mysteries. I think it was Unsolved Mysteries. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I used to love that show. And they'd always have there'd always be one crime that was like a murder, and then there'd always be one supernatural thing, Sasquatch or the UFO or something. And then there's always kind of a second-rate crime at the end.
Was that Robert Stack? Is that who hosted that show?
Yes,
Wait, was that him? Was he the one?
Yes, it was.
I feel like it was.
Because he did.
No, he did
sightings.
the other one about. He did the one about the crimes, though. Wasn't he the one that was on? Wasn't it another show that was more crime oriented and didn't have all the cool alien stuff?
Well, there was also. What was the one
Sightings.
with Leonard? Oh, there was Sightings, and then Leonard Nimoy did.
Sightings was like the
Search of?
'90s version of In Search of, which was the one with Leonard Nimoy that you were talking about.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a get. if you're putting together a show on UFOs and you get Leonard Nimoy, that's not too shabby.
Yeah, I know. I know, and
if
they
anyone wants a good recommendation about In Search Of, hit me up at a con or something, because there's a podcast that I follow I love. But we're
Ah,
talking about
nice.
Gorgar and Old School Adventures, so
Unless you want him to sing a Hobbit song, in which case, I'm just saying.
So I think I had an important point there that I was going to make. And I think that important
What?
point was
An
I
important
feel like
point?
Unsolved Mysteries was the show that like got a little bit. Remember the reenactments they do with the crimes, and they
Sure.
like the knife goes up and they cut away. You could tell they were like, if that show had been like 1 hour later, it would have been a lot more violent. But they were still in that like prime time zone. The point being, you're right, Mike. The Gorgar show probably would have come on after 10 o'clock because then they could, yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't on an opposing network, it would be on right after Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction with Jonathan Frakes. That's
Jonathan Frakes.
That's exactly where it would have been. Yeah, because then
once
they
again,
could cast the beating.
I'd like to thank all the viewers tuning in for the let's go on a diatribe about something not at all related to what we're here to listen.
Yes. We're getting there. We're getting there. The point is, that on the Gorgar TV show, they would have been able to cast the level 2 spell, the Beating Heart of Hell, because it was after 10.
Mhm.
If it was before 10, we would have had to change the name of the spell. But luckily,
Right. Beating Heart of Heck. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You could also have special guests on the show, like Black Sabbath, right? And Alice Cooper.
And Lion Man and Centaur, and they could all fight.
Sure, man.
It'd be like the season finale. All right, and the point of that was a level 3 spell is called Dimensional Wound. Anyway,
Thank you for tuning in to Digression Crawl Classics.
So we're racking up stretch goals. So keep pledging. Let's get us to Dimensional Wound. If you haven't already added it on, there's a couple add-ons we have. We have some really cool T-shirts. So Pinball Crawl Classics, the classic DCC Demon Skull, and the Old School Adventures one, which actually turned out really cool. The Stefan Pogue art looks great on that black T-shirt. Don't tell anybody. I think that's my favorite. I'm probably gonna get that one. Actually, I'll probably get them all. I'll probably get like 1,000 of them all. But the one I'll probably keep and wear regularly is that one. And then the clamshell edition, which is amazing. We've talked about that so many times. I feel like I shouldn't hammer it in more, but it's amazing. Mike and I were emailing this morning about exactly what the sound file should say. And Mike, it sounds like we've landed on. So the printer says you can open the clamshell, it can make a sound, and it can make 2 different sounds. So sound, you close it, open it again, you get a second sound. And Mike, what was it we agreed on that it would say?
Oh, I think it's a classic. It's like Gorgar hurt you, and they're in the email. Like Gorgar,
It was Gorgar hurt you and Gorgar beat you,
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
it's exactly what he said on Cheers, right?
Yeah, we only got like 7 words to work with, so I mean,
everyone else
Gorgar
said
hurt you.
Everyone else said, "Hey Norman," he said, "Gorgar hurt you." Yeah, that was.
This would get like Maurice LaMarche to come in and impersonate Gorgar's voice, and but that might be beyond our budget. That's it.
I have to call out Brendan's comment. Show me on the box where Gorgar hurt you. Sorry, not going there. I guess I just went there.
No.
I guess technically Brendan went there. So,
Bad Brendan.
LaSalle! No, sorry.
somebody call
And
it.
if you want to buy a voice for this, you get Michael Dorn, right? Nice, deep, Klingon. Yeah, he'll be Gorgar forever. So previously, I would have said James Earl Jones, but whatever.
I mean, he does like every voice well. I guess
He's James Earl Jones, of course he does.
That's the most amazing voice.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of digression crawl classics, so a friend of mine was using Claude AI to run D&D games. He uses the AI as the GM, so that's a whole other story. But the voice that he selected was like the most enticing voice I have ever heard. Like it made me want to use AI, and I think they've somehow got like the perfect voice that sounds like, I don't know, if you think of James Earl Jones and people who have like really cool voices you could like sit around and listen to all day, I was like,
Morgan
wow.
Freeman.
Yeah. Yes, I was like, I could totally just sit here and use AI all day just so I can hear this dude talking to me, It was really funny. All right, so that was our intro to talk about stretch goals and bonus items and exclusives. Remember, the clamshell is not going to be in stores, so if you want that, pick it up now. It's really cool. Now, with that, did I forget anything, guys, in terms of exclusives? Add-ons, stretch goals. I think that was most of it.
Double checking our list. I think
I'm
that's
pretty sure.
yeah,
I
that
gotta
sounds
drink my
right.
Gorgar brew. Okay. All right. Cool. So the next thing we want to talk about, and we'll bring Chuck on in a sec to show off some of his super cool art. But the next thing we wanted to talk about was old school adventures. I know Matt's been showing us a bunch of the art that's been rolling in. We did an update on the crowdfunding, I guess last week, maybe last Thursday or Friday, with a big batch of art, which looks amazing. Like, the book's written, edited, art's coming in. We're starting to lay out. And Matt just got some new pieces. So how about Matt and Chris tell us about old school adventures and all this cool art you
Yeah.
guys. Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like you said, Joe, we have a few posted on the Backer Kit page. I think last week, like you said, that are amazing, and we've gotten more in. I think that we're looking at a few of them now. Chris, am I correct that I think that one of the things I just saw go by was a Gloomwing Kobold? Is that the right name for that guy?
Yeah, the Gloomwing Kobold is particularly cool, I think, because it's what you get when you make a winged kobold and then you like affect it with the miasma that is, the Shadow Realm and Shadow Dragon type magic that comes from that. And the Gloomwing Kobold is forever infected and can expel that energy from themselves in order to devastate your players' characters. I'm not saying you should make them cry. I'm just saying.
So you're saying that you're not against them crying. Is that the case?
I wouldn't say no.
Okay.
I
All right.
wouldn't say no.
Okay, cool. That's all right, cool. Well, a couple of new pieces that we want to show. I know one is called the Starfall Zombies.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about this, and I think Elena can probably pull it up while we're talking.
Yeah. Starfall zombies are have a special place in my heart and the hearts of many others, and they like to eat hearts for that matter. And they have a extra special kick when it comes to like the undead in this adventure are unhinged. I mean, zombies are bad enough when they like pummel the ever living crud out of you, but these guys are also, it's like the Gloomwing kobolds, expelling necrosis each time they impact your flesh, causing you not only to be wounded and bludgeoned, but also deteriorate and so forth. There's a whole other set of zombies in there. There's more than one kind of zombies because you can never have too many kinds of zombies that actually infect you with what they have. And that's something that I think has been missing for a long time. I
Infections.
mean, yeah, have you ever seen World War Z and all these other things? Zombies that infect you need to happen. So, nothing like having the party barbarian get up and charge you with froth and blood and stuff that isn't actually his own.
I was going to ask how the infection passes, and it sounds like you just answered it. Some viscera. That sounds great. Cool. All right, that's Starfall Zombies. What about there's a map here that we wanted to show off called the Twilight Temple that Stefan did, and this is. I mean, there's a ton of maps in this adventure.
There are.
But
There are 4 unique locations in the adventure. So just, I mean, as a quick recap of things I probably said before online, the adventure happens over an area where the dwarves had settled and created all these fantastic forges and areas where they were mining, and then of course these meteors came down and made a whole mess of the area, and basically the dwarves had all these different locations that were kind of a larger like community. Like if you think of like close knit towns that are like adjoining to each other that work together to accomplish something, right? But each one has turned into its own dungeon now. And the Twilight Tomb is just one of these places that the new denizens, the new inhabitants, are bad. Okay. Um, everything in here wants to eat your face, and 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 then move on to the party wizard for dessert. So have fun with that.
That's great. All right, cool. So if we go back above ground, like you mentioned Tales, the town of Tales.
Yeah.
We showed off a cool map previously, but I think that one of our artists, Will McCausland, captured the view as like the party is heading into Tales, and what does that look like? I think that there's a graphic, a full page graphic for the Tales Township that maybe Elena can.
Yeah, Tales is actually a very gorgeous town. So because of this massive dwarven community and all the money moving in and out of here because of all the cool stuff that they were making and selling and so forth, they would use Tales back in the day. They would use this town as a trade hub. So as you're moving into Tales, you'll see that the homes that are in Tales were once very proud, domiciles where people who had money and affluence lived, right? And of course, since the degradation of the entire area has occurred, Tales has also fallen victim to that, and all that is left, of course, is these gorgeous villas that are all fallen into disrepair. And the few remaining residents are there, but they're not doing nearly as well as they would have in the past. Not even close. It's poverty is in, and of course the trademark of the name of the town, Tales. If you're unfamiliar, Tales is what's left when in a mining operation when you have removed all the value from the earth, whatever that rock and rubble and dirt and stuff that's left, that's called Tales. And I actually learned that from my my designer Harley Stroh, who wrote that into this town for me. And you'll see like piles of muck and earth and stuff all over the town. It's no longer this like, so imagine these gorgeous villas that have all fallen into disrepair, and then big mounds of rubble and earth and things kind of strewn all over the place, and then stragglers just moving from place to place trying to eke out a living, way too close to four of the really nastiest dungeons ever. So that said, it becomes a great place for you to kind of hole up in between,
Yeah.
areas.
Well, that's a good segue. You mentioned Nasty Dungeon. I think I have one more piece of art we should probably show before we transition over and show some pinball art.
Sure.
This last one is another full page piece, and I don't even think I can pronounce this.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah,
I was waiting to see how is Matt going to introduce this one.
I know. Wait, drum roll. Let's
Right.
go, Matt.
Can't I just say Bugbabills a few times and get away with it?
What is it?
This is the XX, the Itch Queen, the X. I don't know how to say this, Chris.
Dude, you gotta get the accent right.
Yeah.
I think
So-
we'll blame Mark Bruner for this one. I think he actually created this for a Dungeon Denizen. So yeah.
We have Mark to blame.
It's Exit Chicks.
Okay, all right, Exit
Exit
Chicks.
Chicks. And the Exit Chicks Queen is, this massive monstrosity that is, basically creating eggs and laying eggs, and they've formed this community there. Now, strangely, this might be, despite their number of X's that are in their name, because we all know that anything that has an X or a Z in its name must be a villain, right? These ones go against that grain, and they, unlike the other denizens of these dungeons, they are strangely unaffected by the the star rocks, the starfall meteors that have come into this area, whereas everything else has been like, transmuted and mutated and stuff. They are unaffected. In fact, they even use the warmth of the rocks to like hatch their eggs, right? And so there's a possibility, because they're not all spiteful and mean and everything, because they're actually doing well, that maybe you might be able to, chat with them if you don't mind trying to figure out how to speak to a bug, a really big bug.
Right, say like exit,
So
right?
yeah,
Exit,
get out your XXX pocket dictionary and go crazy.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. All right, cool. What else do
All
you want
right.
to tell us about OSA before we transition? Anything else?
Oh, yeah. The main thing about OSA is that 5e players, beware. You're not strong enough. That's my challenge to you. You're not strong enough. GMs, if you come to get this, my hat's off to you. Please, by all means, say, and this one's for Chris, when a character dies, and I'll be happy.
That's great. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. That's the art's looking amazing, and I'm glad to see the product like coming together so well. So I think a lot of people are going to like it. When we posted the last art preview, there was a ton of positive comments, and in a couple days, it's like every day Matt shows us like 2 or 3 more pieces. In a couple days, we'll do another round of that, and I think people are going to love it. So now, why don't we pause briefly, and we will be right back with Chuck Whalen to talk Gorgar. What else?
Amen.
Access granted.
Hey, everybody, we're back, and we now have Chuck Whalen. Hey, Chuck, how's it going?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Chuck.
Chuck has done a ton of amazing art and still does. Some of you may know him from the cartoons in the DCC RPG Core Rulebook, or from the covers he did for us in the 3rd edition era, or more recently for all his amazing maps and illustrations in a whole bunch of the products we've released. And behind him on there is, I think that's the Gorgar map. Is that the Gorgar map behind you? I think.
Yes, that's the first of the Gorgar map. There are several maps for Gorgar. But yes, this is sort of crossing the plain to Gorgar's fortress, which is just up the top behind me there.
Nice.
Yeah, the overland portion of the adventure. That was
Yes.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, and I don't know a ton about that adventure. So is that like the beginning? Is the overland travel until
yeah,
you get
this
to?
is the classic. The characters receive the call to adventure, and then this is like the first part of the call to adventure. They're like, we have to go to Gorgar's demonic realm to rescue the last cleric of Shul, who is up for sacrifice to free Gorgar, so Gorgar can come out and steal all your quarters and pants you and stuff once he breaks out of his demonic energy. So this is where the characters arrive, and then they have to venture their way to Gorgar's citadel, and that would be the other map on this. So this is the overland portion of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we can see the format, but yeah, there's a sort of fortress on the top there that you penetrate, and then we had some amazing art from. Can we show that too? Do we have that as well? The back glass of Gorgar and the floor table, the pinball table of Gorgar, all that art. So I've got very high quality copies of that art that I'm referencing as I do it. I'm not copying it exactly. We're sort of building on the world of Gorgar and like what all these characters are. Like the lion-headed. Oh yeah, you can see one of the lion-headed guardians up there behind me. Yes, so those are on the the buffers and the little lion heads. What are they? But when you really examine it, there are all these sort of little things in there that I think they're all there in the game, and I'm trying to sort of get them all in the art too. So
That's really cool. Yeah.
I would say, working from the development point in this one, this is very interesting because the original map that Mark provided this, it was actually oriented the other way. It was actually, so you actually began at the top and you worked your way down to the bottom. But of course, put this in the hands of an artist who knows what they're doing, you flip it around and now it feels more like a progress, right? It's like you're actually moving up, you're trying to rise up rather than descend. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I often like to sort of flip the wraps around for drawing them. For one reason or another, but I sort of thought about it. Yes, there's two ways. It's like either the sort of ball sort of falling down till it sort of first hits the flippers, but then I was thinking of it more as like this is the sort of it's on its sort of first trajectory up. You've got to sort of get up when you hit that castle, and you're gonna you've got to get over the bridge there at the top, which and there's several things actually that happen in that quite small space, and because the tower is up on a vertical. If I switch, I realize, well, then it sort of solves the problem of all these different things that are happening in the map, like on that surface. So you really need to be sort of looking up at that surface. Yeah, so it's just sort of things like that occur as I'm looking at it. But I have to really sort of sit down and read through everything very carefully and really think about it all. Yeah.
Well, it also aligns with the pinball playfield because like all the interesting stuff is at the top. You want to keep your ball toward the top of the playfield, not down at the bottom where where you gutter out, right? So
right. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, perfect. And some of those things you just described, Chuck, are only part of the reason why you're one of my favorite map guys to lean on when it comes to this, because you are super thoughtful. You take lots of things into account, and like you said, read through it, ask me questions that I never saw coming. And then I'm feverishly discording with Mike saying, oh, wait a minute, I don't understand. Anyway, so I think that we're going to rely on you for some of the other pinball maps, not only Gorgar, but some of the other adventures maps. And I'm looking forward to those coming to fruition.
Yes.
But you've done a crap ton of maps for us, and I think we have a few other samples. There's more.
Before we hop into that, I want to bring in a point. Chuck may not know this, but Matt shares with me the kind of the before finished version of the map where it's mostly together, and then I get to share it with the author and say, do you see anything that's terribly wrong with this or anything like that? And Mark took a look at it. He said, not only is this wonderful, I want to actually change something in the manuscript based on the map. So the map it had already been edited, awesome. So we had to go ack and he had a new little thing based on something that you inserted in the map. He's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. That should be there. So
that's great to hear. Yeah, because I do try and really get into it. So yeah.
Actually, and Chuck, let me ask you, what technique is this? Is this looks like maybe pen and ink or ink wash or digital, or how do you do it?
All right, so my usual process is I will sort of start with the author's map, and I'll sort of look at that and decide that he's to turn it the other way around or something. Or maybe I'll just do it. Sometimes they do give me something that's very detailed. And often, actually, the ones who give me the most detailed ones, often the ones who say, "Oh, I've done a terrible drawing." Some of them just have done a scribble, and I try and figure out what to do it, and then usually I'll take that and I'll put it on a grid, and like whatever grid that we're using, and just to sort of get a basic layout for sketching, and then I'll sort of print it out as a sort of decent size, and then I'll sketch and I'll do my sort of drawing on that. And then I'll take that back in the computer again and make sure it's sort of lined up with the grid and everything. And like, oh, what layers do we have and any little adjustments? And that sort of finalizes the sketch that I'll send off. And then you guys will like have a look at it. Is it all right there? And then what I'll do is I sort of print it out lightly, actually in red. It's my sort of technique. And on watercolor paper, I've got a big printer that will take a large sheet of watercolor paper. And then so I do it, and then I'll ink it on top of that. And I found that the reason I use red is because you can drop it out in grayscale because we're sort of printing everything. If I was doing it in color, it would be different. But for black and white, and because we print in black and white, I can the red just sort of disappears on the computer. You can sort of take the red channel out, and that works really well. I found better than in the old days. They used to say blue, and movies they use a green screen. But for this purposes, I suggest red. Yes.
Gorgar approves of your choice of red. So
yeah, I think blue and green leave a little more of a shadow behind. The red sort of just seems to magically disappear. And I use like a red Ticonderoga checking pencil in my sort of sketching stage, and then I'll use just the red ink, just very light, just light enough so I can see it. And then I'll usually sort of print out the sketch as well so I can see what I actually drew. And but then I do it in ink a lot, and so I leave a lot of the detail to the inking stage anyway, and then. And then the watercolor wash. It sort of depends. Like I might do it in black and white, or I might do it in shading. It sort of depends. I like to do the sort of landscapey ones, maybe more in shading. Yeah.
Nice. I know you recorded that process video, which I watched, and we'll post this for backers sometime the next day or two. But it was cool watching your hand, move super fast, and
well, yeah, I don't go that far. So that video, that's so much speeded up. I cut down to about 10 minutes. I mean, yes, so it's probably a few hours, sort of start to finish, on the inking process. Yes.
Very cool.
It's amazing.
It's relatively quick and calm. It's the harder bits, the sort of thinking about it and reading the manuscript carefully. That's the hardest bit.
Cool. All right, Matt, back to you. I just want to hear that because it looks like such a cool process.
No, that I appreciate that too. We Joe, that we have a routine get together with some of the artists, virtual get together with artists, and process is a big part of those conversations. I mean, besides the conversations about Leonard Nimoy and what everyone's reading and what movies not to see, but it's fascinating to me to just listen to these artists discuss different products they use, different techniques for this. Let's try this type of ink, try that type of. Anyway, it's great. And one of the things I like, as you mentioned, Joe, is the fact that still it's such a Chuck, you work so much in physical media, so tactile, right? Like being able to post that process video of you actually holding an ink pen or a brush and doing your thing. It's fascinating to watch. I will admit that I spend way too much time watching artists' art on YouTube during downtime. So that's something I'm never get tired of.
Well, it's been fun to sort of play around with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Watching artists' art is always more entertaining than watching writers write. I'm going to say that coming from the other side of it.
Yeah, it's more fun when it's speeded up. Otherwise it's not quite.
There's not many YouTube shows where you watch somebody go, "Oh, what was he? He's going to use a participle next." Is there
present tense. Oh!
Well, we put the work in so that you don't have to.
There you go. That's great. Cool. Before we let you go, though, Chuck, we want to talk about one of the other aspects of this crowdfunding campaign, which is a smaller adventure for Dying Earth, DCC Dying Earth. Now, this work you've done a bit ago, it's been over for a while, so we're going to have to, like I said, use the Wayback Machine to remember all the details, most likely. But this is the Archdiacs of the Dying Earth. I think that, Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it
Yep.
might have been a tournament adventure at Gen Con a year or two ago.
This would be technically 3 years ago, I believe.
Okay.
So what it was is that was this was a big one. It was basically as I framework, it was kind of like the Voltron of Dying Earth. Is what basically what it is the each group involved in the tournament, they were having to track down the 5 parts of this MacGuffin, which was called the God Husk. So a lot of those were tied into various elements and what have you. And because it's the Dying Earth, which is located at the end of Earth's life cycle, there was a bit of time travel. So they were kind of jumping about through these different world bubbles. Like it's futuristic, but closer to what like we would know. It's not quite cyberpunk, but it's futuristic enough that you can say, okay, I can kind of visualize that. And then other places were completely like the eighth epoch, which is ruled by insects. Like whatever. So they were jumping up, trying to get different parts of the God Husk to reassemble them, because you needed that to become one of the archdiacs. And to become an archdiac is basically to become like a god level of power in the Dying Earth. So this is the one, if you've been running Dying Earth for a while and you need to wrap it up, this is the one you want to run, because it will end, if all goes well, it end with the characters like, we're in charge of the Dying Earth now. And then of course the sun flames out and it doesn't matter anyway. But until that happens, you'll have fun.
Nice.
It's a great campaign ending module, I'd say. I had a lot of fun doing. Those are some of my most favorite maps I did on this thing, and the structure of going through the little bubbles of time and the little thing, and I sort of worked the map. So how do I make them all go in a bubble? Yeah, it was amazing. And then so there's the path so that you can take through it, and then this sort of campaign world-ending scenario. So yeah, it's great. Yeah,
Very cool. So you mentioned, Mike, there's a Voltron aspect to this where the players, if done right, they kind of work together and have this encounter. But the encounter itself, one of the 2 maps we're going to show, the encounter itself is at least the map, there's nothing to it, right? It's kind of like a big hexagon-y circle, and crap goes down, but as far as map goes, it's nothing special until you get Chuck involved. And then all of a sudden, it's freaking awesome. I don't know too many details about this, but it doesn't matter.
This is the battlefield of where the various God Hucks come down. This is like your war world if you're a Secret Wars fan or something. This is where everybody comes together to throw down. And in the original sketch map is literally just, I think Harley drew it, so it's like a big circle with like, you start here, these guys start here, there's a thing here, and that's all Chuck had to work with. So
yeah, pretty awesome.
Well, I got really into the whole concept of the elements throughout. That was sort of built into this thing, and that was a great sort of visual thing. And I really thought about the elements and the symbols, and they're represented in symbols in different ways. And then I wanted to sort of show them in action as well, in different, and just this elemental world that you're sort of pushing your way through, or whatever, or puzzling your way through. Yeah, bubbling your way through.
However you get there. Yeah. Cool. Oh, and I pulled out one other one that I'd like to hear more about. I think it might be like the final map in the whole shebang.
This is the penultimate encounter before you move on to the big boss fight at the end. This is like the last guy you have to triumph over in order to energize your God Husk and get it ready for the big fight. I think this is an air elemental theme one. I think it has something to do, because I think there's elemental types to the God Hooks. I think this is the elemental. This is the battle of air. No. So.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at this one too. Elena can pop it up, and I'm sure you remember it in detail, Chuck, because you spent a lot of time in this one.
Which one is it?
Well, it's the bigger map. There's I'm not sure. Yeah, if you're not looking at YouTube, you won't be able to see it probably. But there's an area that is Aqua, an area that's Ignis, an area that I guess it's called Jamsout's Ruined God Husk.
Oh yeah, Jamsout's Ruined God Husk. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So yeah, it's really complicated because there's this sort of amoeba-like blob thing floating up from the corpse. So the corpse is so you've arrived on this sort of suspended hexagon with these different elements all around you, like raging around you on the 6 sides, and they're curving in, and there's this body laying there, and then coming out of the body is this sort of cord that leads up to this like a sort of amoeba thing that's in the air.
I mean, obviously, guys, don't you see it?
I tried to how can I make it interesting? I'll do it. There you are. You're a little wizard. You've just appeared there.
Good luck. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So as we said, this adventure is what's an add-on to this crowdfunding campaign, right, Joe? Nice.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So get it. It's great. And especially if you're a Dying Earth fan, and especially if you're ready to be done running Dying Earth, get this adventure. Yeah.
In your campaign. Well, this is the adventure. This is simultaneously both terrific and like terrible for logistical purposes, but you need two play groups, or I guess you could use NPCs. But in the end, part of the premise is the two groups of wizards battle each other. And at the tournament, it was actually awesome, as I recall, Mike, because they actually, nobody knew that was going to happen. Then the two teams that made it to the semifinals, they're like, okay, you're fighting each other.
You can actually, I think you can get away with up to 25 players with this one if you wanted to, because I think you can actually have 5 groups of 5, which was, I think, was what it was. So if you have a lot of Dying Earth fans, or if you have 5 simultaneous Dying Earth campaigns going on, this is a way to wrap them all up.
Mhm.
Or you should just play it on its own. You wouldn't. I don't think you need to have played anything before.
Yes.
Because it's just, it's a sort of, you're taking these characters and they've got to go through. Yeah, it's a great tournament. Which is definitely.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, it has the pre-gens because it was made for the tournament. So a lot of the information is ready to go. So you
Yep.
can.
There's also a ton of player handouts because it's a tournament adventure, so there's a bunch of puzzles and stuff which have to be like, okay, well, what does this go here? And like, you see this bookshelf, what are you gonna do with it? Like, oh, great, okay, so
The layout's like 64 pages. I remember getting that layout and thinking this is like the longest Dying Earth adventure we've done. Part of it's because there's just so much intricacy and supporting handouts and documents and pre-gens and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I love working on Dying Earth. I did quite a lot in the original module and the rulebook, and this was definitely great to work on a conclusion and have it all wrap up. So if you've got the rest of Dying Earth, definitely you want this one to kind of wrap up the set. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and I was just as a little teaser, this might be a great adventure to run if you're doing something in a store, maybe for Free RPG Day or the upcoming DCC Day. And I mentioned that because Mr. Whalen did an awesome cover for our one of the 2 DCC Day adventures that are coming out this year. So keep on the lookout for that.
And I just checked. This is a 72-page adventure.
72. Nice.
Too long. Cut it to 64. We don't need that last map. It's basically empty space.
Yeah, that's got some amazing maps in it too.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. All right,
Awesome,
cool.
awesome.
Well, Chuck, thanks for showing us amazing art. It's always inspiring to us and the writers, and hopefully the fans too.
Well, thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. Loved it.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
And
Yeah.
and I'm going to speak for Brendan, who's still lurking in the chat and everything. Thank you very much for your contributions for X-Crawl Classics. We're always every time we see a good X-Crawl one, we're like, oh, Chuck did this cover. Let's see what it is. And you always bring 110% to it. So.
Oh yeah, Brendan cracks me up. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, thanks everybody. We'll be right back in a sec for a little Q&A.
Access granted.
Hey everybody, we're back. Yes, Chris, you're real. It's just like, am I on? Am I on? So if you go there, I go here. So we're here for the last couple of minutes just for Q&A. If anybody has any questions, if anybody always wanted to learn more about Mike's barber or Chris's barber or Matt's barbers, we're here to share. So drop your questions in the chat if you got any questions. One question we get a lot is, what's the difference between old school adventures and original adventures reincarnated? So I'm going to answer that one preemptively. Both of the lines will hopefully continue for decades to come. Old school adventures, which is the one we're crowdfunding here, is, I'm going to think of the most succinct way to say it, just amazing old school adventures inspired by classic D&D tropes. So this one's inspired by, humanoids in caves. And we all remember Keep on the Borderlands and all the other iterations on that concept. So it's inspired by that trope with a lot of really cool, interesting variations thrown in. But it's not a direct license or direct reproduction from the good old days. Whereas original adventures reincarnated is licenses, in many cases, of the classic material. And those require, as Chris knows from his former role, being on the other side of this licensing discussion at Wizards of the Coast, requires a lot of back and forth, a lot of signing licenses, a lot of approvals, like 2 years worth of lead time. Yeah, exactly. So there's just a long runway. So there actually are more OARs on the way. We actually have a license that got finalized, I guess it was maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago, which means you'll hear about it in about a year, everybody. But there are more of those coming, and they're going to be awesome. And I think everybody's going to be really happy. But there will also be old school adventures alongside that line as well.
Cool. There is one question that I saw just come up, Joe. Aside from mechanics, now I think this is probably for Chris and Mike. I don't know. What vibe differences, if any, exist between adventures you write for 5e and DCC? And I feel like this is a yes and question. There are differences, but there's similarities as well.
I think the main difference here is that where 5e draws inspiration from literally 50 years, if not now more of that, of kind of canonical D&D, setting stuff. I mean, and there's like if you hear Beholder, you already have expectations. If you hear Demogorgon, you have other expectations, everything like that. So 5e comes with a lot more baggage, and that's both a positive and can be a negative thing. Where with Dungeon Crawl Classic went all the way back to the wellspring that all fantasy role playing came from, and kind of ignored any of that 50 years. It didn't have any of that baggage. So we were able to create everything like, oh, that'd be cool, and we don't have to worry about that conflicts with something that appeared in a module published in 1982 or something, which is now part of the D&D canon. So it allowed us to be, it allowed us to do more with less. I think that's a good way of summing it up.
It is, but I also have to say, we also made our own baggage, because now we're like, Cesar Khan, where did we mention him? He was here, and he was there. Oh, wait, he also showed up there.
Yeah.
So
but
we've made our own baggage.
But the advantage is we controlled all of our baggage. We weren't inheriting somebody else's baggage, everything.
It's all carry on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all carry on. Yeah. And I would say that up to this point, that's been absolutely true. Although we are working on projects, for future us's that will allow the 5e side to essentially lose their baggage at the terminal and walk away blissfully. So cannot wait.
Chris? What are you implying? Something new
I'm
and
just
exciting?
saying, I don't.
In a couple weeks.
Maybe we'll see. We're gonna make some new baggage out of different kinds of creatures. And some of it with your characters.
It is funny that you mentioned airport and baggage. I don't know if that was Freudian or not, but that's very appropriate.
Oh, I don't know if I would ever plan that. I mean, it's not like it's a dad joke or anything.
And actually, in the chat, somebody asked about Black Knight. So first of all, if you're not already aware, Black Knight is Brendan's favorite pinball machine, and there was a strong lobby to license Black Knight. There's a couple pinball machines that are almost like too perfect, Black Knight, there's Sorcerer. I feel like something like Cosmic Gunfighter Gorgar, like there's just a lot of room to take that in one direction. Whereas I think Black Knight, it would be cool, but it's also like you kind of know what the plot is already. Whereas I think with Embryon, we still don't know what the plot is. Julian wrote it, and we're still like, where did the red ladies come from? So, so I actually have a list, a running list of, if we do this again, because there's still a lot of really cool pinball machines. In fact, hold on, let me find my list, because there's some cool stuff we can do. Black Knight is on the list, as well as Black Knight 2000. By the way, my older son holds the record on Black Knight 2000 at Free Gold Watch, which is one of the pinball places down in the city. So if you want to unthrone him, go see if he beat his score. Let me find that list. I made a list of all the other super cool, like round 2 if we do this again. Oh yeah, Algar. So you probably know Gorgar had a brother named Algar.
I didn't realize that. No.
Yeah, Gor and Al, they're the Gar brothers.
Oh.
8 people know that.
I knew Mrs. Gore. Mrs. Gore back in the day.
Does Algar like have a head that swivels all the way around, like an owl?
No, AL. Duh.
Oh,
Yeah, apparently it was like a pseudo sequel to Gorgar. I learned this because they actually have a version at the Pacific Pinball Museum. I'd never seen one in person, but I saw it at this museum, and they have a little sign explaining it. I'd only like read about it online. Apparently, only 300 were made, so it's very rare. But Algar is like a lion man, and his brother is Gorgar.
I was gonna say, is it just like the Gorgar backplate, but like this, they drew like a goatee on Gorgar to make it like,
make him look evil.
It was when he woke up after that night at Cheers. He was like, who turned me into a lion? But yeah, Algar, Black Knight 2000, Grand Lizard, which somebody posted about on the thread on one of the somewhere. Somebody posted about Grand Lizard, and it was really cool because
I don't know if we want to go down that path. Then just
it's a little iffy. Yeah, it's a little iffy.
Grand Lizard, you mean?
Well, the name of that could be associated with certain organizations that we'd rather not be associated with.
Got it.
I mean,
Good point.
Any
Yes.
sensible person rather. So,
But it's got a baboon man on it. That's what's cool. Baboon man, guys. Anyway, so that's one option.
I'm down.
No, just be here. Grand Lizard. Lizard.
Grand Lizard. Okay, all right. Lizard is different. All right, so all right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Grand Lizard. It's got a baboon.
I thought you said wizard, and obviously other things.
No, we're not into that stuff. But Google Grand Lizard. It's got freaking amazing art. Who ever heard of a baboon man fighting a giant lizard with a warrior buddy?
Not since college.
I don't know, but I'm putting it in an adventure now.
You could do it. You could stat it up.
Can we name the baboon guy? Oh no, I guess that would be like it's a different kind of an ape. Name him Clyde.
How do you know what kind of ape it is based on the name? Are all the orangutans named Clyde?
The orangutan. Yeah, right turn, man.
All right. So clearly we can do a lot with this adventure. Lost World, and there was like a pseudo sequel which was called was it Paragon? Paragon appears right. No, Lost World and Paragon have like the same guy in the art, even though they don't reference each other. He's like a warrior with little bat wings. Pinbot and Bride of Pinbot, which would be awesome. Sea Witch, Spectrum, Time Fantasy, and Xenon. Anyway, that's my list. So if this does well, in a couple of years from now, we do a sequel. That's the current pending list. That was a long answer.
That's cool.
Thank you, whoever asked. Clearly, I have thoughts. We're actually at time. So any other burning questions on a fan's mind or Matt's mind that we need to answer?
Matt Boombody asks, how do you guys keep producing all this crazy stuff? Is it really an amazing rate that you create this stuff? Yes. We're just all fundamentally broke. Mentally, creatively, emotionally, it's just
I don't know how we make all this crazy stuff. It's just it's how our brains work.
I don't think so. But I feel like go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
I was going to say, and see further answer about us not having 50 years of canonical baggage we have to deal with. It's just, it's just I'll get on my soapbox and just say, it's like every time I see somebody online in a forum is like, can I do this in my role-playing game? And I'm like, you do not need to ask permission. It's like
we don't.
We make all this up. You can do.
Don't tell them if they know that. Who are we going to sell our stuff to? You have to ask permission. You have to buy our books and read it in the books. Yeah.
I'd
yeah.
rather have people making this at home than using AI to make this stuff at home. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
point.
yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
So wait, one last question. Jorge asks, have you thought about doing something similar with arcade video games? So yes, a couple of years ago, I talked to the Atari licensing people. Actually, the big disappointment there was that Pac-Man is apparently owned by, I forget all the details. Like the Atari dude couldn't get me the Pac-Man license because Pac-Man's owned by somebody and it's some complicated thing and blah, blah, blah.
I
Just like that.
restrained with Pac-Man. Let me guess. You go into a dungeon. You're being chased by ghosts, and you're looking.
I know we all figured out what that RPG was by like page 1.
It's the ultimate gelatinous cube. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Now Pitfall. Pitfall.
Yeah,
We have
well-
an overland jungle
Pitfall.
adventure. That's it.
Yeah.
After the third pit, you know what's coming.
Mhm.
Pitfall was
Yeah.
the first,
Anyway, so
first video game
there
ever
is
broke.
room. Yeah, there's room. There's Golden Axe, like Gauntlet. There's a lot of classic stuff that we could do. So it's all in the like I don't know what's that word. Is it in the hopper? One of these days, maybe.
Nice. Well, if we go down that road, I have a few other suggestions I'll make, Joe.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
let's start with Dragon's Lair.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. Yeah.
There's no mechanics for that adventure. It's just like everybody at the table has to move in the right direction at the right time. That's it. It's like,
Left on 3. 1, 2, go.
Damn it!
All right. So we should really wrap it up here. Some of us have day jobs. Like I don't know. Yeah.
I'm getting paid to do this. I can do this all afternoon.
Our fans have to get their products, Mike. We got to write and edit. We want to watch you type. Come on, we got to put that on YouTube.
Right.
I don't write anymore. I manage the word monkeys. That's it.
The baboon men.
All right. Well, thanks
All right.
everybody for watching, for tuning in. Thanks for the support on the crowdfunding. One of the ways we do get to do all this crazy stuff is because you fans appreciate us and throw us $1 every now and then to buy something. So we really appreciate that. It's great, and we will hopefully have many more cool things coming for many years to come.
Amen.
Matt, Chris, Mike, any closing comments from you guys or words of wisdom?
All I gotta say is there's never a bad time to start a backer train on it. So if you want to update or change or convince your 8-year-old sister to back.
Oh, that reminds me. I was supposed to mention early on. we added the loot. Did I mention loot the body? I think I forgot. I can't believe it.
Oh,
We haven't
well,
covered it.
it's a big finish. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Ta-da! So
Yeah.
Loot the Body is Levi. He's an amazing guy. He's an amazing musician. He's done so many cool D&D themed soundtracks over the years and just sort of sci-fi fantasy soundtracks. Check out today's update or go to YouTube and Google Loot the Body. And his music's awesome. He's done a ton of tracks about classic D&D adventures, Into the Borderlands, Isle of Dread, but he did one on Sailors in the Starless Sea, one for the Purple Planet. And he's so inspired by this project, he's doing a pinball themed soundtrack. So there'll be 10 pinball tracks. He said he's going to work in a lot of the sounds that you get from the pinball machines, as well as some of them are going to be themed around like Gorgar or Swords of Fury. And he sent me some samples and they sound great. And he's working on that. So you'll be able to get this as an add-on for this project. Go to the page today and you'll see the add-on. There's actually a physical cassette. One of the options we're going to do is a cassette. We've done flexi discs in the past, but we can do a cassette as well. And remember those things, Chris? You like stuck them in the thing.
What's a
and pushed-
cassette?
I know. They're on a comeback. It's crazy.
I have one right here. It was
I have a
playing
whole
the other
cassette
day.
story, but we don't have time for it right now. That's fine.
Yeah, you do cassette or you can do digital. I was like, what format? And he like listed off more formats than I've ever heard of. So you get a bunch of digital formats if you do digital. And yeah, in the chat, yeah, he did Against the Hippie Commune, which is a really funny adventure as well. So anyway, add that on if you haven't added it on yet, because it's awesome and it will be awesome. And check out his music on YouTube or Spotify. It's worth a listen.
No, not at this point, not Spotify, but Bandcamp. Go to Bandcamp
Sorry,
and check it all out. Yeah.
Bandcamp, that's the one. Yeah,
Mhm.
they all blend together, man.
They do.
After a while,
100%.
I'm like,
100%.
which app did I hear that on? So yeah. To answer the question in the chat, the musician is Loot the Body. LOOT. Just like you do in a D&D game. You loot the body. That's
Loot the
name of it.
body. Come on.
Yeah.
One word. Loot the body.
Loot
Yeah,
that body
It
for
is like
me.
one word.
Mhm.
Matt, was that your 90s? Like,
Yes. Yeah, that was it. Yep. I do it once per stream. I'm not doing it again.
okay. All right. Let's all remember that for the next stream. And on that note,
enough.
thanks everybody for tuning in. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Access granted.